Today on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, we're joined by Iowa Congressman Randy Feenstra. Good morning, Congressman. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Brent. It's great to be with you today. It's great to be on. It's always a great day. I can't wait to get back to Iowa. I'm in the swamp, literally in D.C., meaning that it's 98 degrees, high humidity here. So it is a hot day.
Yeah, I hear you there. How are things going back in your district?
Well, everything is going well. You know, we had some hail that moved through my district by Kingsley. Just talked to a couple farmers out there, really disappointed, wiped out the crop. But luckily we have crop insurance, which is so important. But we're still, you know, there's a real drought going on all over the state, including 4th district. We had some nice rain showers last week, but we could sure use another couple inches.
Well, there's certainly a lot of attention going on in the ag sector right now. Let's start with EPA's rollback of the Navigable Waters Protection Rule. This is something that is being paid a lot of attention to by Iowa farmers in particular. What is your message right now to Iowa farmers, Congressman, about these proposed changes from EPA?
Exactly right. I am so worried about this. Administrator Regan from the EPA announced that he's undoing the 2020 Navigable Waters Protection Rule, which replaced the waters of the U.S. as a smarter and more straightforward approach to defining our waters and our federal regulation here. You know, you think about the waters of the U.S. Allowed the federal government to regulate 97% of our land, and that was completely unnecessary. So I'm truly disappointed with Administrator Regan. I had a one-on-one conversation about this about a month ago. He was also in the 4th district where it was discussed, and I just feel that he was not forthright on what he was going to do, because at that time he said we should not worry about it. But now I'm very, very concerned. And again, it's just another hit for our farming community. And I just hope that these regulations aren't so burdensome like they were under the Obama administration.
Now, what are some of the impacts that Iowa farmers, would encounter if EPA would return to some of those previous WOTUS rule regulations?
Exactly. You know, I mean, you think of every farming operation, whether that be cattle or hog, everything is now regulated. So, whether you have a pit or whether you have a lagoon, all of a sudden it's a lot more dollars, a lot more costs. And then if anything happens, you get a 1 or 2 inch rain and something, spills out, you get fined 10, 20, 30, $40,000. And we saw this under the President Biden administration, or I should say President Obama administration. And it was just so tough for our producers because they didn't know where to go and how to operate. Under the 2020 new act that we had that replaced the Navigable Waters Protection Rule, we had a lot more openness, and we could live with that. But going back the other way is just very dangerous for our producers on how deep these regulatory issues are going to go.
Well, the biofuels industry is in the spotlight as well. Just on Friday, the Supreme Court ruled on the legality of granting SREs to refiners without any prior need for such waivers. So, Congressman, you might provide some background here for our listeners and explain whether or not the EPA still has some time to get this right.
Yeah, and the EPA does have time to get this right. I mean, here the Supreme Court sort of said that, waivers could proceed if there are certain refiners that didn't use them or if they're looking at using them in the future. Again, it's sort of a blow to our biofuels industry. I think that the EPA can still direct how this could proceed. The EPA right now also has to set the renewable volume obligation standards. That's going to be very significant. We're going to be watching that very closely. So again, if the EPA wants to do something right and help biofuels, they can greatly do that here in the next several months. My concern is, again, what we saw with the EPA Director Regan under what we just talked about. I'm really concerned here also of where we're going to go. As we know, the administration is dramatically pushing electric vehicles. The infrastructure bill showed $174 billion going to electric vehicles with virtually zero going to biofuels. And yet their own administration, the Department of Energy under Secretary Granholm said that by 2050, 4 out of every 5 cars and vehicles will be using liquid fuels. So here we have a clean form of energy in biofuels, And, it just seems like the Biden administration and the EPA is capitulating and not, going down the path of electric vehicles versus biofuels.
On another topic, real quick, our network continues to get questions about SteppedUp Basis. The administration has proposed changes to the SteppedUp Basis tax policy. So, how big of a concern is this for family farmers in Iowa?
This should be a dramatic concern. Right now, we've been working with the administration. We've been working with the majority leader from the Ways and Means. Myself, we've been working also with the ranking member of just explaining to people that this is a double tax. This is in essence a death tax with new coat of paint. And this would just be catastrophic for our farming community, especially families across the 4th district, across Iowa that are, looking to pass their farm on to the next generation. You couldn't do it. So I worked with the administration. The administration said, well, we're going to give a little exemption, like $1 million. I said, that doesn't do anything. That's an 80 if you sell an 80, so 80 acres. So I think we're getting closer and closer where they're starting to understand. I'm working with Midwest congressional people on both sides of the aisle, trying to have them understand how devastating this would be for our family farmers and for our Main Street business owners.
What are you hearing from the farmers in your district about SteppedUp Basis? Is this something they've brought to you?
Oh, yes, I'm hearing it from everybody. This is probably the #1 topic right now. And, I'm just tired of the Biden administration, whether it be WOTUS, whether that be SteppedUp Basis, whether that be going after biofuels. We're not catching a break from this administration. And I'm so disappointed with that. We are the breadbasket to the world, Iowa is. And it just seems like every time we have to take another hit from government. We do a great job. Our producers do a great job. Or the biofuel industry does a great job of promoting clean energy. I just humbly ask that whether that be the EPA director or the Biden administration, that they understand how important we are to the rest of the world.
Congressman Feenstra, thanks so much for coming on our program. We've run out of time today. How can our farmer listeners stay up to date on the work from your office?
They can always just click on Google Randy Feenstra, and my office will pop up, and it keeps you up to date on the bills that I'm working on and the issues that are of concern.
Thanks again for coming on our network, and we hope to do it again sometime soon.
Thank you, Brent. It's always great to be on with you.